All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. Hello, Reina. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, Ruan. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. If you are following us, please subscribe, click the notification button so you get notifications when we go live, and share with someone who's going to benefit with that so we can create this amazing environment for a conscious living. Ruan, how are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Always excited to see what comes through and what the energies of the day holds for us all. And how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. It's a beautiful day here in the UK. Summer is finally here, 28 degrees, so no complaints at all.
Lovely. It's also a beautiful day here in South Africa as well. Sun is shining. We had a couple of cold days past yesterday, and today is at least also back in 28s, touching 30s. So yeah,
Okay,
lovely.
so our subject for today, we had a few ideas of what we want to talk, but then we wanted to tap into the collective energy for today and what has been coming through for us lately. So, Ron, I'll just let you channel what is being what's been coming through.
Yeah, well, one thing that's been coming through for me lately, or probably for the most of the collective as well, is the need to be without really knowing where exactly we need to be. I don't know if you
Mhm.
can relate to this, but um, we've all got things that we want to accomplish, right? And once we accomplish it, we'll be at a certain level in life. But we want to be there already. Yes, we can live there in our mind consciously, but we still need to take the physical steps to get there. So all the stuff that we do to get there seems to be not happening fast enough. I don't know if you can relate to that. So there's
Definitely.
this um, need for doing more in order to get there. But a main thing which came through for me this week is quality over quantity. So you can have a lot of stuff which is not quality, or would you rather have fewer stuff that is of quality and will last you at least 3 years? Don't know if you can relate to this.
Yes, I understand what you mean. Quality over quantity. Yes.
Mm.
I definitely have felt this summer, gone on physical. I have been clearing through a lot of the stuff in the house, many things that I no longer need. And I'm almost there finishing this process. But even today, I was, before we go live, I was just like getting rid of more things. So definitely I feel it in the physical. And I can also tap into this on emotional and mental plane in terms of where am I emotionally living and what thoughts am I having. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting thought that has come through of I'm not enough. Actually, I no longer need that. I am enough. I am whole. Therefore, I just drop it, I let it pass through my consciousness and I just let it go. I'm not holding so much for dear life onto this thought or emotion of, wanting more in terms of coming from a desperation point. And I think you are quite right. This has been coming onto the collective, and we are all the time we want to do more and more and more and to achieve more. And it's great when you have a vision. It's great when you tap into the divine feminine of what exactly is it that is aligned to your heart, to your soul purpose, and to the mission that you have here on this earth. And then you can then do the steps, but it's not coming from a desperation point of view, which can be linked into the abundance and the abundance of finances or the abundance of the life that you want to live. But then, as you mentioned earlier to me before we go live, there is abundance of luck as well. And I think this is related to the desperation point. So we must be careful, and conscious is the word, not really careful, but conscious. And as soon as you catch yourself, just go back to center, go back into your heart, tune within and see what is it that you want to experience, because you attract what you are, not what you want. And I think
Mm.
this is, a thing that I need to remind this every single day, every single moment in the now moment. I need to remind it to myself, because we have come here on this physical body to experience this life, yet we are powerful creators. We are a masterpiece, and we are a constant work in progress as well. We are all there is.
Yeah, definitely. And this also reminds me of a conversation that I had with lovely being Susie Byler on our interview that we had, and we discussed about um, our physical. Everybody wants to get rid of the ego, right? But the ego is an aspect of ourselves. We are here when we were in the different dimensions on top. We wanted to be physical bodies. We wanted to be humans. That's why we are here. And once we are humans, we want to go back there. So we are kind of like torn between the two worlds, right? And it's so easy to live in abundance there, but in the physical, because of the environment, the planet that we are around, and the amount of poverty and the energies that's binded, that's the collective energy that's been here for eons, right? Because if you take a look back throughout history, there was always more poor people than rich people. It's always been there, right? So there's still that massive bubbles, even of collective energy, if you move back. So because we are it all, right? The law of one, it's an aspect of ourselves as well. That rich, poor, middle class, all the classes, we are it. And we can tap into those frequencies. I think we tap into it on a daily basis, like moving through each layer, because I don't know if you can relate. Some days you feel abundant, like you feel like you have you on top of the world, you like own everything, all right? And then 5 minutes later, you feel like, oh wait, who am I kidding? Then you just drop back down into that energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely and certainly relate to this. One thing that I have realized in my journey so far is that you cannot be all the time up. That's going to be a massive disbalance. So we need to kind of balance ourselves. So we need to go down and then clear through whatever is down, go up and then clear through whatever is up as well, So it is more about living in the balance, being self-regulated. I think this is a word where it's like really valid and important. And so in theory, we know these things, and it's a conscious way of approaching life. So I'm guilty of being disbalanced, and I'm not always self-regulating myself. But then it's all work in progress. The next time when you catch yourself that you're not, regulating, that you are eating excess sugar, for example, you're going to be like, oh, hold on a minute, that's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. And then you go back and you kind of regulate. So it's a constant journey in, experiencing, living, being. And then how can you, from that point that you are this work in progress, how can you tap into this living in grace, being grateful, because this is a way of being, right? Not moaning for what you don't have, because that's only going to bring you what you don't have, but just being grateful for what you have, taking these small steps or massive leaps, whatever it's being guided to you from the divine, so you can feel, I think, fulfilled, not happy. It's not a happiness, it's not a state, it's an emotion, but living a fulfilled life, living a life of purpose where you don't need validation from the external world. You don't need somebody to, congratulate you. You don't even need self-validation, but you are just this divine being that is living in the physical body. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there's a sense of not feeling enough, right? In the Indian culture, there's one of the, I think it's one of the goddesses that they have there is Ganesha, which is the god of abundance, right? And a lot of people, that's up because India is also a very it's still a third world country. There's also a lot of poverty there as well. So it's that mindset that one comes into is like, what are you going to place your attention on? Yes, it's good to give thanks to um, like, okay, abundance, but what is it that you want? Right? Because there's a balance of, there's a whole criteria that we have to address. So if you're just going to address abundance, because I don't know if you can relate, if you have to start thinking, okay, I want abundance in finances, then there's this mental chatter that goes on. It's like, yeah, but this and this always happens. Or just before, it's like, okay, who am I to ask for this abundance, right? I think that's the biggest one. It's like, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
but also it comes then, okay, abundance in relationships. You want to have more meaningful relationships. That's a beautiful one. And it's something that we need to continuously ask because of all these criteria. We can ask once, but usually it will go one direction. Usually abundance then only finances, or abundance only in energy, or abundance only in clients or business, or abundance in that. So I think it's a habit, like a practice that one needs to make. And even if one can create affirmations, it will also be good. And
Yes.
I also feel this to be shared. I recently discovered, because I love talking to myself in my body, and I realized sometimes it, like, I can feel it and sometimes I don't. And then I realized there's a crucial piece of the puzzle that we need, right? And that is our soul. We need to come from the space of our soul in order to express our affirmations, because otherwise affirmations are just words. Because we are soul living in a physical body, right? We need to take command and come from the space of the observer, because the soul is the observer, right? And then from that space, interact with the world. And if we tap into abundance or whatever kind we want, and we come from a place of soul, we bridge our higher dimensionals and our physicals, and we make it one, because we are technically it. Our physical vessel is here. Our soul is everywhere, even in the higher dimensions. So once we tap into our soul, technically, then we are connected and bridge the gap.
Yes, yes. It is quite deep what you're saying, connecting to your soul. It comes to a conscious way of living and, consciously tapping into that. But it also goes, I guess, back down into internal and looking within and searching for, and not searching for, but focusing on that soul aspect of ourselves, doesn't it?
Yeah. And also, everybody thinks tapping into the soul is this difficult thing to do, right? So if I had to ask you, Raina, tap into your soul right now, would you be able to do that?
I don't know. We can try.
Right? Technically, tapping into the soul is the easiest thing for us to do because it is us.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
If our physical vessel, right, is that a vessel, a vehicle, which cannot operate without the soul, right? So even your conscious thing to lift your hand is an operation from the soul.
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah, I
even
totally
we
agree.
talking at the moment is our intention from our soul to come and communicate and share energies with the people watching. Thank you for everybody joining us live. It's so amazing. Please feel free to comment. We love your comments. So just coming back to tapping into the soul, it's dropping into our hearts and even down below. So sometimes a lot of people find, if they say, okay, where do they feel their soul? Right? And they say, okay, it feels down by their sacral chakra, by the solar plexus. It feels in that area, so it's deeper down. So if you can consciously breathe in and focus deep into your belly and make a bubble with your stomach and with creating the air, like in the as deep as you can in your belly, right? And then just open your tailbone, right? And allow that energy, and you'll instantly feel that there's something different going on in your body down there. And just release and focus on your heart. Breathe air into there. And that's as simple as tapping into your soul. Dropping into your heart, dropping into your being. And then from that space, just feel love, right? Because love is the language of the soul. And if you want anything to be done like this, and it's not coming from a space of love, it's not going to take effect. So yeah,
Yeah.
any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's really good. You know, when you ask me, can you tap into your soul? I'm like, yeah, okay. First thing my mind is like, yeah, okay, we can try. Then the next thing I heard was like, I am it. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Thanks for confirming. Yes, absolutely. It's going into this balanced state of being, isn't it? Where you're not into high beta state of all the time your mind trying and to want to do the need and all that stuff, but like really a balanced state of being within, where almost like a meditative state, you know. um so it is so beautiful to experience this, because then love is everywhere and abundance is everywhere. There is abundance of air, otherwise we wouldn't be breathing, right? There is abundance
Yeah.
of sun, of light outside, or if it's raining, there is abundance of rain. There's no, it's like unlimited. So abundance is everywhere, but it's like we need to focus, we need to trust, and we need to be it. And that is where we tap into the soul, which is abundant and it's everywhere. And we are part of this oneness that we can experience this. And this is such a beautiful, beautiful way of being, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And it's also just a stepping stone. And it helps once we start, the more we can cognize our soul. So usually we start integrating our soul at the age of 12, right? Because then our bodies are physically capable of tapping into that energy. So that's why children before the age of 12, they are very still like programmable and still like very ignorant in a way. But there's also a disconnect which happened because of certain drama playing out on this planet that hinders our soul from being connected automatically. So that means we need to physically guide our children, first of all, to realize that they are the soul and to really start exploring that realm, right? Because when they're younger, it's easier for them, right? And by the age of 24, 24 to 27, we start tapping into our oversoul, right? Which we can't do if we haven't integrated the soul. And it's forever expanding until we reach the Rishi, which is like next level stuff. But yeah, so it's important that we physically cognize our soul. Doesn't matter which age you are now, you can still tap into that energy. It's coming back to basics. Your soul is the basic material that you are made of. And just to quickly come back to the comments, which Nigel posted, Nigel said, attitudes of gratitude. The soul is in every cell. That is so true, and beyond as well. And the body is a tool of the spirit, which is also 100% correct. And surely the soul is with you 24/7, else you would be dead. Definitely. So yeah, just coming back to the soul as like it's a foundation of our being, right? And it's a beautiful gift. And there's the one main soul, which is the old soul, but then each one of us is an expression of that old soul, right? Even different beings exploring different planets experience that reality is part of the main old soul, right? So it's beautiful. We are it. And once we tap into that collective of that soul that we are and the law of one, the more we'll see that the problems in our lives, yes, they are there to be teachers, and it's not that bad because there is a different version of us going through something way worse than what we are currently experiencing. And we can just have so much compassion for them and for us And in that, we establish that connection that's already there and we amplify it. And we are able to really just be in unison and just be okay with it instead of placing labels upon it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're so right saying about the problems and the struggles that we are facing. It's like when you are experiencing, you're in it, and if you suddenly wake up to the truth, wake up to the universe telling you, I'm testing you to see how you would react so you can shift into the next best version of yourself, then you are going to be like, oh, hold on a minute. Can I react differently? Can I not just react but respond differently? And you know how incredible this is. You know, this it has. I have experienced this multiple times. It does not happen every time. You know, sometimes I do sit and struggle. Maybe you can recognize this within your journey as well. When we are like, oh, this is happening. It happens so fast. It's like so versatile. Our ego, which is amazing if we use it for willpower, and is that aspect that we can really push ourselves as well on our physical, and we can as well tap into mental and emotional, I think, with through the ego. I don't know whether you would, you know, agree with that or not, but if you wake up to the truth and if you see yourself from the soul, from above, from your higher self, from a different perspective rather than this what we see that we are now, you know, not me as Raina, but Raina as a third person viewing from above. Okay, this is interesting. This and this is happening. Okay, oh, she is reacting like this. All right, yeah. We want her to respond differently. Come on, do it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a whole team of, you know, people cheering or booing from up there. So yeah, our journey is, it's really funky to think about that.
Yeah, and also I just feel like adding there's so much compassion for our journey
Oh,
here, right? And especially from the other side,
yeah.
right? Which is technically there is no side. It's all mingled and like it's a soup, right? But
Yeah.
there's so much compassion from every angle for our experience and for what we know or what we have remembrance of, right? Because we have all the information there is, but we haven't cognized it yet to a degree that's okay. I can really understand it, right? And one thing that, as you mentioned, having like when we judge ourselves basically for how we show up and what we're doing and stuff like that, that is an exercise also done with so much compassion as well, and is a very healthy exercise. Is before you go to bed or while you're in bed, before you go to sleep, go through your day, see how you showed up. Did you accomplish everything that you wanted to accomplish? How did you talk to people? Was there something that you did that you felt like, okay, why did I do this? And then see, okay, how would you do it differently next time? And just see it from a space of compassion. And once you do that, you are also creating space, right? And you're using your higher faculties to facilitate your experience, to review. And then tomorrow you wake up and you carry on your day. And then the evening you do that process again. And the more you do it, the more you become self-aware. And when you're in that situation again, that awareness, because you know you're going to review it the night, you will automatically show up differently and think before you respond. So yeah.
Yeah. The thing that comes to me is like a non-hyphen critical over hyphen view, you know? So you basically go above and you view it from above in a non-critical way, in a non-judgmental way. And yeah, you are so right. When we have this feedback, self-feedback, then we can go back and we can, you know, show up differently or choose. We have to realize that we have the choice, and we do have a choice, even if you don't do this, although this is like really helpful. I think I'll start incorporating this in my evening routine, to have that choice of how you're going to react. And also, you might be in a situation where you are ready to project or somebody's projecting, but then go back to this choice again, you know, And then repetitive action, acting as the best version of yourself in non-projecting way, it's gonna be anchoring a habit down. So you basically shift your identity. And just to continue with this as well, shifting your identity is something that we can do on a daily basis. And it's
in any now moment.
yeah, that is it. Yeah, that's right, exactly. And shifting the identity, I feel like it's tapping in and out of timelines, all the timelines that exist as a possibility for yourself, anything that you can think of, anything that is conscious in your conscious, everything is that in your unconscious and subconscious as well. If you feel it, this is your identity shift. So if you see yourself in that highest, best timeline of yours, but you are not quite there, how can you reach that point? How can you start acting as that person, as that being, so you can match your
One
reality?
one thing that's coming through is healthy competition,
With yourself.
right? Not with yourself in a higher sense as well,
Yeah.
but in the physical as well, because every person is a different expression of yourself, of the soul that you are. So there's already people that's achieved what you wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
All right. So if we're going to really focus on those around us and use them as our competition, healthy competition, we're not going to get very far because they're not going where we are going, right? Like what was mentioned on Ed Milet's with Jason Derulo's interview on Ed Milet's podcast, which is really amazing. I'd recommend everybody go check that out.
Absolutely.
And what they mentioned there was get a competition of somebody that is beyond where you want to be, then strive to be like them and better than them, because that is where you want to be. So if you want to be a guest speaker who is somebody full of confidence and that are speaking at least at 50 events a year, right? And then model them and try pushing for 60 events a year, right? Be better than them, right? And that's not to say, okay, you're better than that person. No, it is your growth. It's your life. It is your future that you are working on. And there's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just like you are here for a purpose. And there are certain things that you need to go through in order to get where you want to be. So it might be something that you don't dislike doing, something that you fear. There's always a reward behind fear, right? And fear is just an illusion. It's a monster in the closet. And once you open the closet, you realize that there was nothing there in the first place other than the one that you created in your imagination, right? And that's also a beautiful thing when you tap into your heart and your soul, right? Because once you tap into your soul, you are this infinite divine being. And if you're in that space, nothing can violate that your right to be. If anything risks your will to be and your intention to be, risking your life, that if you're coming from a space of ego and your body and you're not focusing on the bigger aspect of yourself, that may happen because you attract that.
Yeah.
But if you come from a space of full trust and that you're protected at all times because you are this magnificent being, then supernatural stuff will start to happen, right? Like if somebody, I like going to extremes, if somebody had to shoot you and it would look like he's going to hit you, but it misses completely or the gun misfires, right? Something mysterious happens, right? But it's just owning it and being it and not waver in your belief that you are it. Because if you're not going to believe that you are it, then your body and your mind, subconscious mind will say, okay, you are not it. And then you are screwed, basically. So yeah.
It's a lot of information that came through. As always, we are encouraging you guys, whatever you disagree with, just let it go, pass it through, and
Yeah,
whatever you
definitely.
can take into your journey, take it and use it for the with an intention for the high service of all involved, including yourself. So yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with what you're saying. Going back to abundance of all, focused abundance of all, the best version of yourself, how do you want to experience your life, getting rid of struggle. I feel guided that we tap into self-healing and work with the inner child. Is this coming through for you right now?
Yeah, well, we can dive into any direction.
Yes. Okay, fantastic.
All right. So let's honor our inner child real quick. Right. So see yourself, take a breath quickly, and let it out with a sigh. All is well, right here, right now. There's no other place that you would rather be than right here, right now. All right, now see yourself any time in the past when you were a child, but see a moment where you were alone, like completely alone. There was nobody there in sight, and you were perfectly happy just to be here and experiencing whatever you are doing. Now, see yourself going back home and you are confronted with a situation that has bothered you your entire life. It's happening as you walk into the house. Now you have the opportunity to really address that matter in a mature way, knowing what you know now, expressing yourself as this child. Are you saying something to your parents, to a friend, to a sibling? What is it that is really standing out to you? And where are you feeling it within your body? What expression is required from you right now? Is it to hug someone? Is it to cry? Is it to shout? Is it to empower yourself? Is somebody belittling you? Is somebody making fun of you? Accept and deflect. It is not your energy that's coming to you. It's an external situation expressing towards you. And you can choose. You can be a mirror to deflect it, or you can be a sponge to absorb it all. And since we were children back then, we were sponges and we absorbed it all. But you're mature now. Are you still going to be the sponge? Or are you going to be the mirror to deflect and be the change that you always wanted to see? Now, as you see your inner child, visualize a bubble of pink, radiant white light around you and the situation, and just put it like a quarantine sphere around it. And notice ask your higher self and your soul, is there any negativity, any negative agenda, any negative programming? Ask it to be shown to you in a way that you can understand. And this can be anything. It can look like a black dot, it can be gray, it can look like a little haze ball. And then whatever reveals itself, turn it into bright white light and watch it disappear. Beautiful. Instantaneously, it's gone. You are powerful and magnificent. Now, while you're in this space, I ask you to bring your awareness to this planet. See yourself floating in space, see the moon, and zoom out, see the whole solar system, keeping your inner child and your physical body. Take a deep breath into your physical body while seeing the solar system. Feel the expansiveness. And place a big, brilliant white light, pink white light bubble around the solar system as well. And take another breath into your body. Beautiful. Now place your attention back to your inner child. See the situation has changed into harmonious laughter, joy, peace. There's compassion. All conflicts has been forgiven. You gave them, they've forgiven you. And the quarrel has been resolved. That fight that you had with your best friend is resolved. You guys are hugging each other again. You guys are playing again. Now give your inner child an embrace from within. Don't physically hug your inner child. Hug your child from within. Smile from within. Radiate through your physical eyes now to your inner child. And with this, we come back to our physical body. Thank you for all who participated in that. How was that?
Thank you. This was so beautiful. I had a revelation, which was amazing. Thank you.
Ah, amazing. Let us know in the comments if you experienced something remarkable as well. Because at the end of the day, this journey is all about you. Only you can do the inner work. Nobody can do it for us. And we wouldn't want anybody else to do it for us because it will take that experience away. In a life full of conveniency, it would be convenient, but it takes that experience away, right?
Absolutely.
It's like an example is coming to mind is go buying a loaf of bread or baking bread. How many revelations do you get just baking the bread and physically using your hands and cooking and baking? Because you're so active, your mind's active, you're getting different perspective. But if you just go to the shop, buy bread, life just carries on. So yeah, that's the example that came through.
Lovely. It was amazing. Thank you so much. And remember, you are enough. Your inner child is enough. You are absolutely whole and complete. Whatever you are going through, go through it. If you can go through hell, you can definitely go through the gates of heaven. It is this journey, this balanced journey of life that we have volunteered to come here. And you wouldn't rather be anywhere else. Tap into the power within, tap into this amazing and incredible power that you have. Not power to lead or to rule, just the power of being.
Definitely.
And bring that grace.
Definitely. And just also one last thing that I would like to share with everybody tapping. Thank you so much. If you guys are still sticking here, I can see you guys are still watching. We absolutely love it. Thank you so much. We appreciate every single one of you. And if you're watching this on replay, you are exactly where you need to be. And from my heart, just know that every time you feel any energy coming over you, and it's coming from a space with outside of you. It is your conscious choice not to associate with it, right? Especially depression. It is a topic that not a lot of people want to talk about. And if you have to go and search on social media depression, it will ask you, do you need to talk to somebody, or are you sure you want to view the content? They're censoring out any help that people can easily find. You need to go through processes to get it. And depression is something called waves of depression, right? And it comes from outside of yourself over you, and you feel small because it pushes you down. Just know it's from without you. It's not yours, right? It's a collective energy, and the more people feel it and absorb it, the more is going to pull the collective down. But just know that within you are enough, like Raina said, right? You are enough, and that you have the right to be. You won the greatest. For you to be a was a chance 1 out of 1 trillion, and here you are, right? You won the greatest race there ever is, right? With the greatest competition, and you won it, and you won. Your reward was life. Now it's just, how are you going to live it? Are you just going to watch it go by, and one day on your deathbed really think that, okay, there was so much more that you wanted to do and wanted to experience, right? And if I understand, in this world full of currency and stuff like that, if you do not have the financial means to do the things that you want to do, then there's your next step. Sort out your finances, get that sorted, get that going, right? It's your responsibility to do that, right? Because it is your birthright to be abundant in riches, prosperity, energy, relationships, and it is yours. You just need to claim it, and you need to go out and get it, and allow synchronicity to open the doors. So yes.
And when you step towards that space, that one just said, when you step up for yourself and you are doing it for you, not for anybody else, but you're sticking to what you have promised to yourself, then the magic happens. Then the universe starts working for you. There is a saying we say in Bulgaria, help yourself first so God can help you. So it's exactly like this, whatever you associate with. Stand up for yourself. You can do it wherever you are in your journey. There is a way that you can step up for yourself. And it is your birthright to do that.
Definitely. And with that being said, thank you so much for everybody that's joined us all throughout now. It's been a pleasure, and it's really an honor to show you guys what is possible. And just a sneak peek, we show up for the energies of the day, right? We had absolutely zero plan of what we're going to talk about. We just facilitate space for what needs to come through, right? And what's needed for the collective. So if you do not resonate with any of this, it's 100%. We still love you the same, right? And
it's all right.
yeah, but just know that there's somebody, maybe somebody next to you, that is going through what we are talking about, and just have compassion for them on their journey, right? We are all on this planet together. We are all chasing the star called our sun, right? And just have grace for your fellow humankind and for all beings. Even if you see a butterfly or a spider, it's also a little being, right? That has the right to exist. So thank you so much for joining us. And
From our hearts to yours. Until then,
live long
and prosper.